Hey, welcome to another edition of Purpose for Forever. I am Anthony. This is Samantha. Your phone making a lot of noise over there, buddy.
Don't worry about what my phone is doing. You started, so
we appreciate you guys rocking with us and hanging with us. Listen, if you're seeing these faces right now, make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. Let's see, what's that? All right. Oh, if you're on Periscope, make sure you share as well. I am, but this will be our last day as Purposeful Forever on Periscope.
Oh, why is that?
Because we're gonna be getting rid of it. We gotta switch something. We gotta move.
Oh, okay.
Hey, what's up, sports car lady? Hey, Cheryl.
Hey.
Thanks for rocking with us today.
Right.
So, like I said, make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Today. Yes, we are talking about marriage journey tips and pitfalls to avoid. It's all my topic. She don't know what's about to go down, so she gonna be totally and completely surprised. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So excited. All right, so hold on. Make sure you guys share, tag another couple. I'm running. I'm talking to my people.
I'm sorry.
Come to. All right. We'll be right back. Uno momento, por favor. All right, and we're back in the building. All right. Hopefully everyone is sharing. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. All right. So Sam, how you doing today?
I'm great.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. So when we first met, right?
First met like in high school?
High school.
Okay.
Oh, matter of fact, let's move forward a little bit.
Okay.
We started dating.
Okay.
When did you know that you loved me, or at least liked me a whole lot?
When did I know? What kind of question is this? When did I know that I liked you a lot? I don't know. I mean, I guess I kind of have liked you, for a long time. We had a long history. I'd known you a long time. So, I mean...
It's kind of like entwined and just kind of...
Yeah, it kind of all just came together.
I got you.
I don't know. By the time we actually started dating, it had been so much time that we were familiar with each other that it kind of just all meshed together. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't really know. I mean, when did we even officially say we were dating? I don't even know. That's what I'm saying. Everything kind of just rolled together.
Right.
So it wasn't like an official...
Right. Official, real, serious kind of like we just decided
we just got together and became inseparable. And,
right.
And he followed me around like a stalker and...
See there we go. That extra info. Y'all didn't need all that. All right. So when we got married, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was, or did you have a view of? Did you have an expectation, or what did you have an idea of what you wanted to happen? Maybe Kind of so when we first got married.
I wanted to live happily ever after.
Yes, there's too many Disney.
No, I'm serious.
No.
Like,
Okay.
I don't know. At the time, did I have a large expectation? No.
Hey, Monty.
At the time, it was kind of you get married,
Mm-hmm.
you stop sinning.
Right.
Get yourself right with Jesus.
Right. Hey, Sister Boyce. Okay.
Now that I look back on it,
Right.
I realize that we made so many mistakes.
We're gonna go through some of that today. We're gonna go through a little few of those tonight. Oh, but so your expectation was kind of like I just kind of went a little happy.
I didn't know what to expect. I knew that I wanted to get married,
right?
To try to, in my mind, get my life together,
right,
and then move forward with it,
right.
That was all I had.
Gotcha. What is that?
Oh,
that's close that. So okay. So with that,
put the slide of question. Go ahead.
I'm just
okay. Go ahead. I'm
moving forward. All right. So with that coming together, trying to get expectations. I'll say for myself, I wanted some of what I had from my home, at least, I guess.
Which was what?
Mom and daddy just there. I don't know. Like, I guess I really didn't have a lot of expectation. Right. I just knew it was like the right thing we're supposed to be doing. We got divorced. What we're supposed to be doing.
We have no clue.
Right. Well, this is just the right thing. We together. That's just the progression. The next step. They said you need to get married. Why are you not married yet? You married? You need to get married. Get married.
And we got married.
Yes.
And then it was
nobody
supposed to have kids.
Yeah, supposed to have kids.
Right.
Right.
And we tried that for a long time.
Yes.
And it took
a long time.
Then we did that. And then we got divorced.
Right. Because it's like they you kind of somewhat the whole get married, and then what you miss is you need some support. More just some support as far as because I had no clue. I didn't know what I was doing. Over time, now when things started getting rough, I was kind of trying to reach out a little bit, and I say that because I reach out and they're like, too much, So it's when you're not used to asking for help or getting help or not knowing even what help kind of looks like, right. you kind of fumble that too. So it was really rocky because we didn't have enough of a foundation. We didn't know totally what we were getting into. It's kind of like this is just the progression, the next step. You've been together 3 years. Now it's time to get married. What does that look like? Sign this paper. Say your vow. Say you love each other. I love her. Put the ring on her. And it's kind of like the progression. So we fumbled a lot in the beginning, because we didn't really understand totally what we were getting into, and the responsibility, especially as a man, what I was supposed to do more of, as far as I knew how to provide. That was ingrained in me.
No, let's clear this up. He knew how to go to work.
Right.
Because that's what we did. We went to work.
Go to work.
That was it.
Go to work. Come home.
Of course, bringing the money home, but that was it.
Yeah.
Providing is more than financial.
Right. True. I feel
right.
Right.
You provided, your paycheck. Right.
That's okay. That's what they told me.
Who is they?
Them, somebody. I learned it somewhere. My house, my dad. He said, "You bring that money home." But outside of that, that was the extent of kind of what I knew. Everything else, I was just trying to figure out. And yeah, so it kind of like a 13 years of kind of fumbling a little bit,
fumbling a lot of bits.
Not really understanding the gravity of marriage. I think some divorces happen because they don't really realize what marriage means.
Okay, so what does it mean?
I think it means coming together, having understanding, having expectations, not only of each other, but of what direction are we going and what are we trying to accomplish.
Mhm.
And talking and communicating that, consistently. Oh, it's a comment. Oh, Snapple. All right.
Imani.
Hey. Just as a pause for the cause, make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. And tag somebody. Tag somebody that can be in this conversation that may have been through the same thing, can add some value to this conversation. So yeah, I think so that just getting the definition and then communicating, and for me, putting down my defenses, with our conversations. It's the let's talk. It's like, what you mean? What are we talking about? Block it, like, or not wanting to talk. If for a long time, I had my defenses up. I really had a hard time just being open, you know, just being open to how I'm feeling and what's going on and all that good stuff.
So do you think that's like a part of being a man? They always say men don't talk. So do you think that's like a part of being a man, that you're taught not to talk and you're taught to just go to work and provide. You go to work and you provide a paycheck. And was that it? Like, is that like a man thing?
I don't know. I mean, as a man, yeah. I mean, I know a few men, but I do know men that talk. Like, so I don't think it's gender specific, for a man. And I won't even say it's really taught. It's all I've seen, of all I've really ever seen as far as the examples. Like, men go to work, men handle, the bills and make sure the stuff stays on and things like that. Unfortunately, I didn't go through the fix it class, so I don't know how to repair nothing. That man thing, I missed out on that class.
Right. He's not a handyman.
I'm not. Unfortunately,
only
it sucks. It sucks. But I think, yeah, it's. I know some men that do. They just have a hard time sharing. But I've never seen it, like, when you don't know what something looks like, it's hard to emulate it.
Okay, so how did you figure it out? At what point did you figure it out?
Oh, thank you.
Could you ask the question? At what point did you figure it out? How did you figure it out?
Once we separated, just kind of.
Right. You can learn though. Right, Corey.
What's up, Corey? Hey, Dr. Rollins.
Like a role models couple would be heavy on the being young. Because when we got married, we were 21.
Right.
And we had two totally different backgrounds.
Right.
And to be honest, I think we both went into it looking for two totally different things.
3 years. We were separated 3 years.
3.
Well, legally.
Well, okay. We talk about the legal
part. We're going to dig into it. All right.
No, that's fine.
No, we can. Go ahead.
No, that was it. That's fine. We don't have to give all the extra details. We were legally divorced for 3 years.
Yes.
We were separated for
off and
3
on.
Plus, right? Off and on, because we would like be together and then we would try to live apart.
Right.
And then somehow would always be drawn back together,
right,
and then be apart again. So we went through a lot of trial and error.
Right.
And unfortunately, we were like riding a short yellow bus, because it took a while for us to get it. I'll say both of us, because I was adamant about, this is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I want.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I had every right to expect what I wanted. But I will say the thing I did not do, this is what I want, but I want it to look this way.
Right.
And that was the wrong approach to take, because a lot of what I wanted in essence, he was giving me, but it didn't look like what I thought it should. So for me, he wasn't giving it to me because it didn't look like the idea I had in my head. It took a while, like I said, riding that short yellow bus, for me to realize and understand that, in essence, I really was getting what I want. And then also to understand that he's a whole complete different separate person. And, he's going to do things.
That's great.
He's going to do things his own way.
Yeah.
And then also to realize that was part of the attraction to him in the beginning, was that I liked the way that he thought and I liked the way that he did things until I married him. Ironically.
So y'all was still in.
We were still in
love.
Something.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was really love, because there was a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
We still cared about each other. I will say that. We still cared about each other. But it was so much confusion that whatever love we may have had was totally overshadowed by all of the confusion. I'll say for myself, because I can only speak for me. All of the confusion. And it was things that I created all by myself. So, like, I'm not the person, that listened to a bunch of outsiders. This was all the people in my head. We was all having these meetings. Yeah. And then, after I had the meeting with all of us, I was telling him what we had decided.
All right.
And that didn't really translate as well, relationally wise.
Right. So I think for myself, what helped kind of shift my thinking or begin to make things better, me become a little more attractive, I guess, is the fact that, after like a lot of self-reflection, understanding that, it's not just like listening or hearing, it's being able to respond to what she's asking. I think that was like, and the challenge was, like we always, what's that? You're waiting to respond. You have your response already ready. You're like cocked back. You're just waiting for you to stop talking, and I'm gonna hit you with my response.
Right. He wasn't listening to understand. He was listening to respond.
Right.
And a lot of times I wasn't listening. I wasn't listening at all. Like, I can say that I just look.
Right.
This is whatever. This is what I want. This is how I think it should be. And it's not like this. And I don't even want to talk about it no more. And until it looked like this, I don't want to talk about it.
Right. And I always talk about kind of how she used to talk, and and what I heard, it was kind of like, a place of just rah, and I'm just, I'm putting up defenses.
See, but then now you make me sound like I'm a raging.
No, I'm just telling you, how I was perceiving it. It's not until, we sit down and we had a conversation and I stopped being defensive, because I was always defensive. Like, no matter what, hey, I got a problem. I'm like, let go. I got my defense. And I was always because it was, and she said it one time, and I never really thought about it. You go down the I'm always wrong path. Like, I'm always wrong. I'm wrong about this. I'm wrong about that. I'm wrong. So anytime she says anything that may seem negative, I'm like, oh, I'm just wrong. I'm always just wrong. But coming out of not that old way of thinking, knowing that, okay, this is an issue. I love you in all these other areas. It's just, hey, can we, and this right here it's kind of bothering me. Like, okay, I hear you. Let me listen and respond accordingly. And I think for a long time, it pretty much, that was the cycle. It's just not listening, being defensive, going separate. And then for me, like, I shut down, stop talking. There's no talking in the house. And we would go for long periods of time with no talking.
Right. Communication was a definite stumbling block.
Yes.
And I'll say part of it was our personalities. because I tend to be on the more direct side.
Right.
Like I'm really direct and straightforward, and sharp sometimes. And that sharp, sharp things cut you, even when that's not the intent. So sometimes me just being my normal direct, sharp self,
Right.
I was cutting him inadvertently. So, and it just, when you hurt somebody,
Right.
The response can be varied.
Right.
And I think a lot of times the response was kind of like, I'm getting away from you,
Right.
And so it was like, we're not going to talk. We're not going to do this because every time you do this. And so it just became like we were opponents. Right. We forgot that we were on.
That was the main thing, right?
On the same team. We forgot.
I'm going to win this. It's my win. I'm winning this.
We forgot what the goal was supposed to be. Right. The forever, forever till death do you part. We forgot about the goal.
Right.
So we became opponents.
Right. And when things aren't totally talked about or totally handled, like me, I just kind of let stuff go, like, oh, water on the bridge, just let it go. She of course, because more than likely I've offended her, so of course she's holding. So now there's snide remarks, now because she's frustrated. And I ain't really talking, so it's like, okay, I'm not gonna get your attention here, but I'm gonna get your attention somewhere, So and it's just like, and like you said, the cutting to me, it really even wasn't just when we had discussion. It was outside. It's like, hey, like just what, where did and dumb me, like, where did that come from? He said, say I love you, like,
Yeah, but see, and that I love you is great and it sounds awesome, but it's just words. After a while, it just becomes words. Yes. When there's so many other things going on, I love you is just
it doesn't
a word. It doesn't, the meaning can get lost in translation. I mean, even when it's crazy when we got divorced, we went to court together.
Yep. Yeah. So there's another one.
Right. Oh my gosh. I used to tell him, like, don't apologize anymore.
Right.
Like, they just become words.
Right.
Like I said, we went and we got divorced. We went together to the courthouse.
Yeah.
So we went together. I think afterwards we went out to eat.
Yeah. Right. And then have just
so like we didn't ever get to that where we hated each other.
No.
Well, I'll say I never got to where I hated him. Yeah. Maybe for like 5-10 minutes at a time. Like never like a lingering thing. Like sometimes you do stuff, I'd be like, oh. Right. I think it was more like I hate that I still love him type of deal. Because I didn't want to love him. I didn't want to still feel a connection to him. I didn't want those things. So yeah, it kind of, I don't know. It was a weird dynamic that we had. And it was a lot of ups and downs. Right. I will say we stayed consistent to a couple of things though. Like if he ever needed anything. Right. I like whether it was getting up at night and going to pick him up from the train station to take him to his own house. Right. I would do it. Right. If it was weird because even when I went like to the grocery store, I would buy food to be at his house. Right. We stayed committed to our friendship because we were friends. Right. We had gotten to a point where, like the romantic wasn't working, but we stayed committed to our friendship. Right. Amazingly, we were more committed to the friendship than it seems like we were to the marriage. Yeah. And we stayed, of course, committed to a united front for our kids.
Yeah.
So, we still did things together. Right. We didn't, tell your mama, I said, we didn't do that. We didn't, your father's whatever. We didn't do those things.
I was Mr. Wonderful.
Right. That was, that was cold. Yeah. He knew what it meant. But to the kids, it was great. But, I never wanted to let my anger let the kids, know that we were fighting. So I would just say, tell Mr. Wonderful, that I said whatever. Or tell Mr. Wonderful, because I always wanted to present a united front to our kids. We tried really hard not to mess them up. Right. That was a goal. We didn't want to mess our kids up. I mean, it was great because all this happened when they were still smaller. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I don't know how that would translate with teenagers. Right. But it worked then. Right. Right. I definitely would advise against it though.
I mean, they like to go between rooms. They get, something, run around, and they kind of loved it in the sense of separation. But it's we always try, like I said, never to put them in the middle. Whatever's going on, never let them having to see us at our worst. I mean, granted, they're kids. They've seen stuff that you try to shield your children as much as you can from nonsense that you're having between your spouse or whatever's going on. But of course, they're kids. They see stuff still. But we never purposely wanted anything to transpire in front of them.
Or you don't use your children as a pawn.
Right. She never did.
I never kept the kids away from him.
I know what's going on.
Sometimes I'd be home by myself. Right. It was okay. If he wanted the kids, he'd get the kids. I'd drop them off. Whatever. Right. We never used the children as a pawn. Like I said, we stayed committed to some things. And I think that's important in a marriage to, have rules to your fighting. Right. Like, as weird as it sounds, like you're going to disagree. Right. You're going to have, I don't know, spats, whatever, however you want to call it, arguments. Y'all are going to be standing on opposing sides for different things, but there should be rules of engagement when you're disagreeing. Right. There should be things that are like just out of bounds. Right. At all costs. Right. You have to be effective in the way that you communicate. Right. So I still need to be able to tell you how I feel, but there has to be boundaries. Right. Everybody know low blows. Right. There should be some things that are out of bounds. Right. Like, to me, love has boundaries. Yes. Love helps you use boundaries. Right. Like, when you love somebody, you should never want to hurt them. Right. And I know you get upset and you may say some things, but there's some things I feel like you should never say. Right. And if you say it once, you should never say it again. Right. Like, once I say, okay, that was a no-no, like, I feel like I should never have to say that to you again. Right. Right. Like, once I've expressed how that made me feel, like, oh no, that right there, that can't happen. Like, that should never happen, again. Right. So effective communication, rules of engagement. Definitely. I will say I never put him on the couch. Yeah, no. I know you see that stuff on TV where you send your husband, you go sleep in another room. If he's gone and slept somewhere else, that was purely his choice. Yeah. I've never put him out of the bed. Because I could feel the eyes on me. I'm like, I gotta go somewhere and sleep, lay down, and do my avoidance dance. I gotta avoid this. So I would go into another room and we not talking, and I would just, that if you, like you said, it was never get out of the room, get out of here. Honestly, if she said it, that'd have been a point for me. Like, oh, okay. I wasn't giving you that. Right, that was because I would listen, kick me out. I'm out. I go to sleep.
Sleep was my defense. Sleep was my defense. Not talking was my defense. And that and the thing I realize is when things aren't discussed and they snowball, they're a lot worse than they should be because we're not talking about it. So now I had to realize, when she's having her conferences, there's more conferences happen if I don't come step in and interrupt it.
Right, interrupt all the people in my head because they were all
having a conference,
all in there
about what we're about to do tomorrow.
And the less he talks,
yes,
the more they talk.
Right.
And I'm sure, it may sound weird, but when you sit and it's like you stewing in something, and you may not hear voices in your head. That might be a little.
Right.
But you having the conversations over and over in your head. Right. You be like, oh, did he say that?
Right.
He did say that. And then you get mad all over again, thinking about something on replay in your head.
Right.
Don't let your communication die.
Right. That is.
Keep the lines of communication open.
Right.
Don't let it die.
Right.
Communicate. And if you're tired of talking, keep talking.
Right.
Because there's always an out. There's always a fix. There's always something underneath something else.
Right.
So a lot of times you might be arguing like, you just keep arguing. I don't care if I left the cap off the toothpaste.
Right.
And the more you talk, you realize that she mad about something from last week, or he mad about something, from yesterday. But that cap off the toothpaste was, just an opening to start the argument.
Right.
But what they really want to get to is up under something else.
Right.
And you'll never figure it out if you stop communicating.
That's true.
It'll just get buried deeper and deeper and deeper. But it'll still be under there. Like you have to talk and, uncover stuff and talk and uncover stuff.
And with talking, we always talk about being intentional with your conversation. So you're not talking to win. You're not talking to one up. You're not talking to have what I left toothpaste on, but you left the garbage in, So yeah, listen.
Ooh.
I left the refrigerator. What you did yesterday, So it's intentional.
He's the master.
It's intentional.
He is the master at that.
Yeah.
He the master. I'm like, why you always leave your clothes on the floor? Well, I don't say nothing when you got all that trash on your nightstand. What? What did that have to do with anything?
So yes, it's
the tit for tat, right? And I used to be like, "Are we for? Like, what are we doing? Like, yeah." So effective communication. Don't just talk, but effective, intentional communication. Like, ladies, if you mad that 3 days ago you saw he liked somebody's picture on Instagram, start the conversation with that. Right. Save yourself some time. Right. Like, save yourself some time and get to the point.
Right. What's really bothering you?
Yeah. Just say what the issue is. Nobody wants to sit for 20 minutes and you start talking about the garbage or the laundry and you really want to talk about Instagram. Right. I mean, like, it's just be direct, be clear about, what your issues is. I will say we wasted in the years that we played in and out and up and down and then divorce and then get back together, then get married and have a wedding. Let me tell y'all something. If I can relate anything to anybody, it's don't waste your time.
Definitely.
Don't waste time and money.
Right.
The money that we wasted trying to live in two different places, the time honestly, that we wasted.
The time more than anything. I think we lost so much time.
It's just, it's terrible. You can't, what you did.
Or you know what you did. No, they have no clue what you're mad about. Right.
Like, the time is one thing you'll never get back.
That time.
If you love somebody, just look, I love you. You're bonehead. I love you. Can we figure it out? Because I love you. Like, instead of, going the long way.
Right.
Just be direct, be whatever. Now
Right.
I'm just like, look, this is what it is. I mean, I'm always kind of direct anyway, so, but let's just get to why we're upset.
Right.
Let's get to what the issue is so we can deal with it and move forward.
Right.
Because that should be the goal, to
Right.
always be able to move forward and move forward together.
He said, "What? You always leave a sip of juice in the carton."
Yeah, that probably would be annoying. And I will say, I see a lot of people, like, they take their stuff to Facebook.
Right.
They take like some real personal,
Right.
private, intimate issues,
Right.
and they take
Post
it
it up
outside of their house.
Yeah.
Whether it's social media or to your friends.
Right.
Or your family.
Right.
Of course, that is a no.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. Everybody needs somebody that they can talk to sometimes. Sometimes you need somebody that can listen to you vent, but you have to be very careful.
Right.
And very, very, very selective.
Right.
About who you vent to.
Right.
And even how you vent.
Right.
I mean, you know who your friends are if you really take a look. And you know this one talk about everybody.
Right.
So, like, is that really the person, that you want to vent to? And then, are you talking to people to make your marriage better?
Right.
Or are you talking to people, like, what's the goal?
Right.
That will steer you to who you can talk to.
True.
I know for a long time there was only one person that I would call and talk to, and I probably wore her out.
Right.
With our drama.
Right.
But she was always honest.
Right.
With me, and always, clear and supportive and helpful and prayerful.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Sorry. I felt that coming. But I was selective about who I can talk to and who I trusted.
Right.
With my marriage and with my relationship. Because this is supposed to be your number one thing.
Right.
In the world. This is supposed to be at the top.
Right.
Nothing is supposed to come in between this,
right.
above this, nothing. So, you shouldn't be as careless
right.
to just display it everywhere,
True.
Even when there's something wrong. There are different avenues sometimes that you may have to take to get some, and it should be about help. To get some help,
right.
Maybe you're feeling weak, maybe you need some strength, you need some advice.
Right.
But be careful with
where you get your support.
How you display it and how you put it out in the open.
Right.
Like, be very protective of how you display those things. Oh no, I got it. It is very important that you protect each other.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's about. You're protecting each other. You're not necessarily about hiding stuff,
right.
but protect what you have.
Right.
The last thing you want is to give people ammunition to tear down what you have.
Right.
Because then what happens when you're having a weak moment, you get people saying, "Oh, well, girl, remember when he did this? I don't know how you stay with him and he did this. How could you talk to him and he did this?" And before you know it, you constantly reliving all of the things that he did.
Right.
It makes your relationship harder.
Right.
Be smart. Be selective. Be protective.
Right.
The same way, women, we turn into bears. You come out for our kids. Right. Like, that same energy should apply to your marriage.
Right.
Be protective of your spouse. And when he wrong, and if you need help, you get help.
Yeah.
But just the random and excessive, all on social media and Facebook and, talking down about your husband to people,
Right.
That's a slippery slope. It's
Right.
dangerous, and it can land you in a bad spot.
Definitely.
And it can harm your relationship. How do I trust you if you tearing me down?
That's true.
How are we a force together
Right.
if you're creating a divide?
Right. And for as a guy, sometimes we struggle to find those that we could reach out to that will have the best interests of our marriage at heart. And then for me, though she was talking to the old wise one, her husband was reaching out, but I wasn't reaching back out to him. Like I wasn't talking to him. And I always remember we had probably like our last consultation before we moved or whatever. And we sat down and he was like, before we get started, he looked at Samantha, was like, I'm going to just let you know, I tried to talk to him. Like he was making it clear, like he tried to step in, he tried to help. So as men, we do need to find those that we can talk to that can encourage us in our marriage. Just the same way, someone, not someone single, like, oh, forget her. Let's go find a replacement.
Replacements, is it? What do you?
Yes, dance go.
Okay, please don't do that anymore.
But let's see. This should share, but be careful with who you share with. Yeah, older married couples helped us gain new perspectives and work it out. Right. Those that have been married a while, and those that at least want to be with their spouse and love their spouse, and
find people that are in a healthy
marriage. That too.
That have been
that too.
In a healthy marriage for years. Don't just find people that's been married a long time. Half the time they don't even like each other. You gotta.
That's true too. But you find it right. You find those that like being around each other. They enjoying their marriage. Because we just had a long line of just being around the wrong couples. And that's kind of like the purpose for Forever starting and finding healthy couples.
Yes, and that was the motivation for this.
Yeah.
For this, I don't want to be putting my things all on the screen. It's because once we got back together and whatever, and with all our talking and things that that we feel we had messed up, things that we missed, we realized that we wanted to have a support system of couples for our own benefit. And then, thinking in terms of what if there are other couples that feel like, I need to find some other couples with the same goals that we have. Now, it don't necessarily mean that you're all going to like the same thing, but the same goal where, we want to love each other. We want to, be together forever. We want to be productive. We want to, whatever. And so we started this, which initially was just supposed to be, I don't even know, because this man gets me into all sorts of foolery. And what started as, I just want us to have some couples over to dinner, because that's how it started. So I'm like, okay, I can do this for him. We're reconnecting and I love him again out loud. So let's do it. They went from having couples over to then doing this, to then doing all this.
Right. You said even divorced folks who love you, and they're not bitter, but have wisdom and experience to share can help. Definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, my mom used to tell me, even an alcoholic can teach you something.
Right.
I was like, what? Like, it took a long time for me to get it. But she was right. If he could teach you nothing else, he could teach you not to drink.
Right.
This is what happens when you do this. So, yes, people that have been divorced, because, even when we were divorced, I would talk to people and try to encourage them to don't wind up here.
Right.
Like, over here is not fun.
Right.
Like, you don't want to be in the boat, that I am in. Because, then you have to get to where now I'm thinking about my children calling somebody else mama. Or people combing my daughter's hair. And, so all those things you don't want to be in that position where you have to think about it. So yeah, divorced couples, people that have been down the road that they see you heading down are all great. But just know who you're talking to.
True.
Be honest at least about that much. Who you're sharing with, and about what your goal for sharing is too. Right. You don't just want to find somebody you could dog your husband out to. That's backwards.
Right. I'll say for a while though, I wasn't probably a good person probably to go to because I was a little bitter and angry. I told the pastor I think I didn't even like good happy couples. I didn't want to see y'all. I didn't want to see none of that. I want to see nobody get married. I don't want to see none of that. Hope it fail. No, I'm just I just wasn't honestly. I went at a certain point. I wasn't a good. So probably like in the beginning, going through like our back and forth. You can make it. I'm gonna try to make it. You can make it too. But I think at one point I'm just like, don't do it. Just go the other way. Go the other. Because I was at a rough place, and I say that because there's good divorce couples in the sense they can give you some good information. Then there might be some others that just not in the right place right now to seek advice for because their mind is like, you know what, marriage sucks. Don't ever do it. Don't ever do it. So and I like I said, I just say that because just seeking advice. Like I said, the alcoholic can't right. He can teach you not to drink. He tell you the stuff not to do. And even divorce, they can tell you the right and wrong, and they can tell you, listen, I can tell you all the ways I've messed up. Right. I can tell you everything that I've done wrong. So just don't do these things, and then try to find the right path. Because if I knew the right, I'd still be with her, So just you got to take each advice, as a grain of salt, finding the right people, and then, like I said, like we've said earlier, discussing to the right people. I don't, you know what? Oh, well, let's see. Let me see if I can read that. Okay. For a large percentage of women, marriage is like landing a dream job. A couple of years later, demanding half ownership in the business you hire, family law only families, right? And 84% of the recent Booking Institute poll shows initiate. I don't know about that, but by the way, I'm a woman and an attorney. Okay.
Family law overwhelmingly favors women.
Yeah, I mean, we got Dr. Rollins in the building as well, so she has a lot of those statistics as well. But that's not really the bulk of the convo right now.
Well, I mean, I will say, yeah, I absolutely did initiate.
Yeah,
I did initiate. I did it, and one, I will say for me, I know at the time I felt like I deserved what I wanted. And it wasn't about monetary stuff or whatever. I felt I deserved to be treated the way that I wanted to be treated. Now, of course, like I said earlier, my perception was a little skewed. I can definitely admit that. But I guess it really doesn't matter who initiates. I mean, you sign, divorce is divorce. Right. You initiated. It starts somewhere there's a breakdown in the relationship.
Right.
And so the initiation happens. Right. The point is,
what does he do? Oh,
I don't know about that. Once the breakdown happens,
mm-hmm. So no, I'm
not. Divorce comes after. The point is to try to stay away from the complete breakdown.
Right. That's the point of
you're
this
gonna have
yeah.
Things are gonna happen.
Definitely.
And you're gonna have, I don't know, like a better term, downtimes.
Right.
You're gonna have disagreements.
Yes.
Things are gonna happen.
Definitely.
The hope is that you can navigate
right.
Your way through.
Definitely.
The only thing I will say, absolutely not. The one thing you should never navigate through is physical abuse.
Right.
Period.
Right.
That's it. Once somebody hits, whether it's him or her.
Right. Either way.
I'm not ever gonna advise somebody to navigate through that.
Yeah. No. I can't. Yeah.
Never. That's the one thing I will never advise somebody to navigate through.
Right.
I'm always going to say, get to a place of safety where you don't have to get into where there's hitting again. Maybe there needs to be a separation period or whatever, but that is the one thing I will never, anything else, I feel like, depending on your desire and your deal breakers, because we all have different deal breakers. The hope is that you can find your way to navigate through those things together and come out better on the other side. Not just stay together because, we got kids, or, it's cheaper to keep her, or,
physical altercation.
Right. Or we can't afford to live apart. The hope is to navigate it and come out better on the other side.
Definitely.
I will say, and it's so crazy, like, our marriage is better now than it has ever been. Yeah. I mean, ever.
Right.
For me, anyway.
Right.
100% better. Even, like, it's weird. I was thinking to myself the other day, like, and I know I'm not talking about the world and, whatever's going on outside of my house.
Right.
So I'm saying for us, and the pandemic is kind of one of the best things that could have happened. Like, we needed this time for us, like, to really reconnect and, I'll say, build a real foundation for our relationship, because outside of if COVID hadn't happened, we yes, we had gotten back together, but it would have just been kind of like the normal rat race.
Back and forth.
If you work here, there, and we wouldn't have had the time that we've had to really build the foundation of our relationship and really, really, really dig our heels in and talk about some things that we had never talked about, even though I've known him since I was 15.
Right.
Like, I've learned a lot about him that I never even knew.
Right.
For me, I guess I just talk a lot. I don't know. And I'm more communicative, so there wasn't as much that he had to learn about me, but I learned a whole lot about him, things that I had never known. So this time really was kind of great within the confines of our house for our relationship. But I would advise everybody, don't miss opportunities. Like, even sometimes on Saturdays, you'll find yourself, you in one room watching Lifetime, he in the room watching basketball, football, whatever. I mean, like, smallest opportunities. Sometimes, ladies, you can suffer through a football game, a couple of hours. It don't have to be your favorite, but it won't kill you. Sometimes I suffer through a documentary. I don't really like them.
I don't do sports. I do documentaries. I love them.
Right. I don't like them, but it gives us time,
she gets to them sometimes.
Right. It gives us time to, to be together.
Right.
And sometimes it sparks conversations that, goes from one thing to the next, and we find ourselves, just talking.
Right.
We have definitely learned to maximize opportunities, even sometimes just going somewhere and having breakfast outside of the house, outside of the children, spending that time. And it doesn't always have to be someplace expensive. Sometimes it's the little hole in the wall, just being able to do something together. The smallest things can have the biggest impact.
Definitely.
So communication, spending time together.
Right.
Like, and I know sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you look at them and you be like, you still here? But when you go outside of the house, and sometimes that's that in the house energy. Like, we just been in here
too long.
and I'm tired of being in the house.
Right.
And then I'm tired of looking at you being in the house. So sometimes just taking a drive, that just getting outside of the house together can make, a big difference. In the car, you got to talk.
Right.
It's just us.
Yeah.
Turn the radio off.
Right. Yeah.
Talk.
Yeah. It does make a difference. Just spending time together and just ask, questions about how they grew up, or just ask, things that they like, something that you never thought about asking. Just have conversation. Learn more about your spouse. That's been the greatest thing. Yeah, right. Just talk. Right. Just talk.
Just talk.
That's it.
You'll rediscover the person you married, because they still in there.
Right.
But what has happened? Life happens. Bills happens. Kids happens. Deaths in the family. Losses of friendship. Changes of job. All those things kind of get, become who a person is. All those different experiences. Definitely. And sometimes the person that you married, you look, you're like, you're not even the same person.
Right.
He's like, I'm here, but I'm just weighed down by all that has happened.
Right.
But when you start talking and listening,
right,
you'll be surprised at what you find when you start to uncover stuff. You'll find the same little curly top in there.
All right, so we appreciate you guys rocking and hanging with us. Thanks for sharing. If you're on any of these platforms, just share. Make sure you share, especially on Facebook. Make sure you share and tag another couple or someone that may need to listen to this and may need to contribute, because I love to see the comments. If you're on YouTube, thank you for being there. Make sure you subscribe. Be one of our 10 subscribers. We don't have that many. Oh. We don't have that many. Oh, you're welcome, Cheryl. Thank you. Also. So
who's YouTube like that, though?
A lot of people.
Okay.
A lot of people.
So, as always,
love intentionally,
love unconditionally,
and love on purpose. So, thank you, Cheryl, for being here. All right.
Cheryl.
That's Sports Car Lady. So I be learning people's names.
Well, how am I know a name if it says Sports Car Lady?
Learning people's names.
Really?